Good day everyone, I'm Egypt Ducay, and for this video I'm going to show you how to do facing and turning operation using the lathe machine simulator. So before I start, I'm going to identify the 5 parts of the machine. So over here in the upper part is what we call the headstock. And in the lower part is what we call the feed mechanism. And over here is the tailstock. And over here is what we call the lathe bed. And over here, which is the last part, the moving part, is what we call the carriage. So without further ado, let's proceed to the activity. So this image is the given plan or the mild steel's result should be after doing facing and turning operation. So before I proceed to the facing and turning operation, the cutting speed of the mild steel I'm gonna use is 90 meter per minute. Now I'm gonna show you the computation of the right spindle speed using the cutting speed of 90 meters per minute, diameter of 30 millimeters. So the formula of solving spindle speed is 1000 times cutting speed over pi times diameter. So spindle speed is equals to 1000 times 90 meters per minute divided by 3.14 times 30. So overall is 955.414 RPM. So let's set the spindle speed to 1000 since our spindle speed is 955.414 and 1000 ang mas duol-duol. And ato sad iset ang atong workpiece diameter to 30 millimeters since mao na ang given, and set the offset to 85 millimeters. And ang ako ang gamiton nga toolkit is the toolkit number 47, which is the cutoff. So now everything is ready. Before we start, don't forget to turn on the main drive push button. And in the upper left part, just click the camera 2 to see the blade closer. So the next thing we will do is we need to move our blade closer to the mild steel. So before we start the operation, we need to set our toolkit 0 to 0 to the workpiece. So turn on the chuck and slowly move the toolkit closer to the workpiece. And if makabantay spark or naay ni pisik, it means nagkadikit na siya. So diha na nimo iset to 0. So we are done setting 0 to 0, and we can now start the operation. So remember, the first measure we need to cut is 15 millimeters. So we will set it to 15 millimeters and start cutting 20 millimeters length. So it's done. Again, set it to 0. Next is we're going to check the result of our work by clicking the vernier caliper. So as you can see, it is correct. And now we will proceed to the next measure we need to cut, which is 10 millimeters. Again, set it to 10 millimeters and start cutting 20 millimeters length. So it's done. Again, set it to 0. And next, again, we're going to check the result of our work. So again, it's correct. Now, we will proceed to the next measure we need to cut, which is 5 millimeters. So set it to 5 millimeters and start cutting 20 millimeters length. So it's done. Again, set it to 0. And again, we are going to check the result of our work. So again, it is correct. So we will proceed to the last part. So before we start, kanang ubo sa English to Russian ng icon, just click it to turn the workpiece. So again, we're gonna set it 0 to 0. So it's done. We can now proceed to the last measure we need to cut, which is 2 millimeters. So set it to 2 millimeters and start cutting 40 millimeters length. So it's done. Now we will check the result of our work. So again, it's correct. Now, our workpiece length is 100 millimeters and the required length we need to have is 80 millimeters. So we need to cut 20 millimeters to have 80 millimeters length. So the toolkit I'm going to use is the toolkit number 5. And again, before we start cutting, we need to set it 0 to 0. So it's done. Now, the next thing we need to do is to set the toolkit properly. Now, our toolkit can only cut 12.1 millimeters long, so ato lang siya na siyang i-cut. So, it's done. After that, atong i-cut ang sobra para ma-fit siya 20 millimeters. So, natumong na siya sa 20 millimeters. Now, start cutting. Now, we're all done. So, let's check the result of our work. So, the length is correct. Diameter 25 millimeters correct. Diameter 20 millimeters correct. And lastly, diameter 15 millimeters correct. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and God bless.